Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and whoever or whatever you identify as. Welcome back to the Shed of Dread. Welcome to another video. Right then, the good old BBC, you know, the one that Russell wants us to vote the government out to save because they need to keep their licence fee. Indeed they do, because first they've given themselves massive pay rises, which of course is always useful, and then there's this little gem that I'm going to read from you now. It's the Daily Mail, from the Daily Mail, but it's on other things as well, so it's not just the newspaper making up stories, because they do that from now and again. Any case, let's carry on. If the BBC doesn't know what viewers want, I'll tell them for free, as the corporation sets aside £50 million. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, £50 million of our licence fee for audience research. Christopher Stephen recommends turning up the lights and the dialogue. So not only have they given themselves massive pay rises, now another 50 million of our robbed money. Now that's right, BBC, you rob it off us. It's a tax. We have no choice but to pay it. Well, in fact, we do. We can, you can not pay it, but you still get a lot of it. You're still charging pensioners now in any case. So I should carry on. The BBC is set to spend £50 million on market research over the next 4 years in a bid to discover what viewers want. Here's an idea, BBC. As it said at the top, why don't you just ask us for nothing? Because you see, the problem is, before I go any further with this, I haven't read this. As with all articles, I never read them before, because it's so I can read it as you. The simple truth of the matter is, if you're paying for this research, you're only going to pay for what you want. It's very much akin to when the news goes about some particular political point and they go out in the streets and interview. Out of the 5 or 6 people they interview, so we'll say 6 people they interview, 5 of them will be pro for it, and then the other one who's against it, they'll make sure they find the gormest looking idiot in there just to produce the thing. They never give you what the actual feeling is, because they'll throw away the more, on most artists things, more against or for, only what they want. So if they're spending 50 million spondoolies of our cash for the next 4 years to find out what we like, they're only going to have what they want to have. They're not going to listen. It's kind of akin to when they said that the BBC News was objective because of the people and the things they'd asked, but made sure that the only people who answered were the ones who loved the BBC News. Because let's be brutally honest, if you put your hand on your heart, the BBC News is about as objective. Well, it's just not. That's 50 million quid is the equivalent to 314,000 colour TV licences at £159 each, or put it another way, that's enough to give a free TV licence to every home in Glasgow. I'm presuming Glasgow is where this guy comes from. I don't know, but it just shows you that just 314,000 TV licences. Remember that the population of the UK is about 68 million. Is enough to pay for this. So it's just ridiculous. And it says here, it's a ludicrous sum of money due to something that the corporation must already know, because their viewers constantly tell them. How many of them, if you bother to look, how many people who are enjoying, you used to enjoy the Doctor Who, have been saying consistently through all of this particular shit, and we want it changed. Now we've changed it, and we just keep our fingers crossed, even though there are serious concerns that maybe it will be. But that's for another video. Not only do the BBC executives have continuous access to audience figures, which, yeah, okay, showing them exactly how many people tune into every programme, but they receive daily stream of emails, letters and tweets telling them exactly what we all love, hate or yearn to see. But remember that the viewing figures aren't all of them. They're not done like that. But in any case, we'll carry on. No other business on the planet has better feedback from its customers. That's true. I know, because as the Mail's television critic, I receive hundreds of comments from readers letting off steam about their TV gripes. And there are many gripes. If the Beeb really doesn't know what the viewers want, I can tell them for free. And so can me, and so can you probably. In fact, I think most of you would be quite happy if they gave the opportunity to say something to the BBC about what they think of their programmes. It's a simple shopping list of great drama, especially period romances, thrilling crime mysteries, comedies that actually make us laugh, and dialogue that doesn't rely on repetitive foul language. Well, that's not all of them, let's be brutally honest. I mean, repetitive foul language is what you get on this channel for free any case. But the point is, that's not what we want. And believe it or not, I'll actually show you the picture. Look, there it is. Old Doctor Who is mentioned. There's even a trailer for the Centenary Special underneath, but I'm not going to watch that. Recent series of Doctor Who starring Jodie Whittaker have been an exercise in po-faced preaching. If smug self-righteousness won big audiences, 40 million people would be tuning in every week, and it would be ticked off by a Time Lord. Well, in fact, we know that it's just gone down and down and down and down. But it's interesting how they mention Doctor Who. While it's true that £50 million is barely enough to make 5 episodes of a Netflix drama, The Crown, which costs about £10 million an hour, where did they get the money from? Which is apparently the most expensive TV series ever. Never watched it. Not interested. The BBC is not expected to compete on that scale of lavishness. No, it isn't, but Netflix get their money through corporations and sponsorship, so if it doesn't perform well, they're in trouble. Where here, with the BBC licence fee, it doesn't matter how much shit they pull out, they still get their fucking money. Which is why everybody wants to defund the BBC, including the Conservative Party. I mean, they've dragged it out till 2027, and they should have done it now. Because if the BBC, like all these blue check marks and all these stars go on and it's so wonderful, like Russell T Davies says, you know, it won't work without that. If you think you're really that good, if you really genuinely think that you're producing good quality TV programmes, go on a subscription model and we'll watch you burn. As is what's happening now with Netflix and Disney Plus. People aren't liking what they're seeing, they're not watching. The corporations that invested large amounts of money to do it aren't happy and want their money back. That's how it works. On the topmost items of this, say, corresponds to the Daily Mail, they need to not cost everything at all. We just want to be able to hear the actors. What most infuriates more than mumbled dialogue or background music that drowns out the cast, yeah, because we're trying to be American. The BBC One series Shetland was castigated recently, and the series, including Happy Valley and Jamaica Inn, have been heavily criticised in the past. Bad sound can make television dramas unwatchable. Correct. It's no good if you can't hear it. Yet, when challenged, BBC bosses blame the viewers. That sounds familiar. It's not our fault, it's your fault, because you just don't fucking listen. Some moaners need to get their hearing aids checked, they say. This is what we pay. This is why we want you defunded. This is why we hate the BBC. Because if instead of addressing the problem, which they could do by just slightly turning up the volume, they tell you to get your fucking hearing aids sorted out. Their fucking arrogance is unbelievable. Any case, I should continue. Others might need to invest in a new TV set. That adds insult to injury. So in other words, you can't hear it because you ain't got a decent TV. So after spending all that money, 159 quid or whatever it is now, fucking shit, to actually watch the TV, now you got to go and buy a new TV because we can't be bothered to turn the fucking sound up, because as with everything with the BBC, it's your fault, not ours. We take your money, we give you what we want, and you fucking enjoy it, because if you don't, it's your fault any case. What do you mean you can't hear it? Fucking buy a new telly, turn your hearing aid up. Fuck's sake. It's unhelpful, it's arrogant, and it's wrong. Correct, but that's the BBC. That's the BBC in a nutshell. And it's because, as the official body of recording technicians, the Institute of Professional Sound pointed out last year, the real culprits are directors who think mumbling is somehow more authentic. How authentic's that? It's just fucking bullshit. Mumbling isn't authentic. Yeah, all of us who do YouTube videos, if we mumbled through everything, no one would fucking watch. Would they now? Directors are persuading actors to downplay their delivery and almost throw their lines away, thinking it's more realistic, said Malcolm Johnson, the Institute's secretary. That just explains literally everything. Just as irritating are underlit scenes, especially in historical dramas such as Wolf Hall and The Last Kingdom. New technology is partly to blame, with low-light video cameras able to work on studio sets lit by a glimmer of a single light bulb. But the problem is if you have a modern TV, it amplifies the dark, the black. Makes it blacker, but it means you can't see as much. These shots look great when projected onto a cinema screen, correct, at an industry premiere, but those watching on a small screen at home is like staring into a mug of black coffee. Worse still, here we go. Flat LED TVs become dark mirrors when there's more light in the room than there's on the picture, which is actually true. You'll be actually watching it and you've got a reflection of whatever's on the back wall or yourself watching it because it's gone too dark. That's one reason why I refuse to go to screenings and insist watching in my home as readers do. That's a very good way of doing it. Television is a very different medium to cinema, and the basic fact that the BBC is sometimes determined to ignore because the BBC don't want to listen. This is why spending £50 million of our money to find out what's going wrong with the TV shows means they're not going to fucking listen to that either. They're just going to piss that money down the drain, and they'll just pretend they got results. Without doubt, sound and lighting are the biggest cause of complaints in my postbag, but that's not the answer that the BBC chiefs want to hear. They imagine there's an untapped audience, mostly in the 16 to 34 range, who are eager to switch off their PlayStations, abandon social media, if TV can only discover youth formula. You're not going to do it. Trying to appease the youth like you did with Doctor Who, for instance, and dragging a more female audience succeeded in the worst drop in viewing figures in fucking history. The simple truth of the matter is, PlayStations, Xboxes, or any other entertainment system and social media is vastly more interesting than listening to someone waffling along about bullshit on the TV. Remember that your audience that you're aiming for, the 16 to 34, and if they're on social media, they haven't got the attention span to pay attention to anything else. So there's no point. That's why they watch things like Love Island, which requires them not to have a fucking brain. In the fantasy world of the Beeb, that will only mean the more diverse shows featuring actors and presenters who are more radically and sexually representative. Yes. So the new Doctor, yeah, fits that quite well, don't you think? The BBC's favourite buzzword is identity, a shorthand for everything to do with race, sexuality, gender and self-esteem. This is exemplified by the announcement this week, here we go, it's actually going to be mentioned in this, of Ncuti Gatwa as the next Doctor Who. The 29-year-old Scot born in Rwanda is best known for his flamboyantly gay character in Sex Education on Netflix. Never watched it, but what I have heard from a lot of people is it's really good and funny, and if I ever get the chance, I probably might give it a shot. Nominated but unfairly passed over for a BAFTA for the third year running at the weekend. But the simple truth of the matter is, BAFTAs are pointless any case, it's just somebody blowing smoke up somebody else's arse. This Gatwa is a terrific actor, and I'd love to see him rescue the classic show from the doldrums. Doctor Who has slid so far down the ratings that it no longer airs in its traditional Saturday evening slot, but if fans rush back, it will be due to the charismatic performance and not the diverse casting. Even he thinks it's a diversity hire, because it fits what the BBC think is what we want. However much the virtue signallers at the new broadcasting house want to prove their moral superiority, there you go, viewers don't choose what to watch according to its wokeness. In fact, the more woke it is, the more we won't. And as we're mentioning Doctor Who, When Jodie started at the beginning of her stint, she was at 18.2 million viewers. And with one more to go, which is coming in October, she's currently languishing at 2.2 overnight. That's 16 million people have upped and fucked off because they don't like what they see. Doctor Who itself is proof of this. Recent series starring Jodie Whittaker have been an exercise in po-faced preaching. Its smug righteousness smug self-righteousness won a big audience. 40 million people will be tuning in every week to be ticked off by a Time Lord. But of course, no one is, because no one wants to be. No amount of market research will make Auntie understand this. Exactly. It's an institution thing. They're that far left now that they just don't want to listen. They think that everybody else is wrong. They just don't pay attention. They don't want to. They're that superior. That we are far better than you. And we'll even have our news programmes tell you how shit you are. Yeah, so we're brilliant. We'll give ourselves a pay rise. Yeah, and we'll just produce shit because that's what we think you want to watch, which it isn't. And you refuse to listen to your audience. BBC has just spent 80 million quid, that's 80 million pounds more of our money that we've had robbed of us, to relaunch BBC Three, its self-conscious platform for youth content, the TV equivalent of a middle-aged man in a hoodie and trainers. The tone was set on the opening night with a documentary called Gypsy Queen and Proud, about Cherry Valentine, a 28-year-old drag artist from Darlington who grew up with the Traveller family. Audience figures for the BBC Three have proved to be worse than the corporation's bleakest fears. One of the channel's most touted new formats, The Fast and the Farmerish, saw rural youngsters racing tractors, attracted about 43,000 viewers. My God, you thought Doctor Who's figures were bad. BB execs wailed that it's unfair to highlight this flop, since more viewers were tuning in via iPlayer, the BBC's online streaming service, but BBC Three was already available on iPlayer. That's where it was before it came back onto the TV. That £80 million was spent to relaunch it as a Freeview channel, something nobody wanted or asked for. But we've done it, and now no one's watching it, and they do what they do with everything. Yeah, but more people are watching it on iPlayer. That is what Britain's national broadcaster has always done wrong. The BBC hears what it wants to hear, not what the viewers are telling it. And that's why we want it defunded, and that's why we want it to go to subscription base, because then they'd have to listen to what the viewers want to say. Otherwise, they'd just disappear into nothingness, and all these over-rich, self-righteous, pillocky, wonking arseholes would just disappear off the face of the planet, and all would actually go and have to work for somewhere where they'd actually have to do some serious work instead of just making shit that bounces around in the BBC's own echo chamber. Throughout the Beeb's existence, audience opinions have been treated as something of an eccentricity. Listener research reports dating the earliest days of radio are maintained in the archives, but regarded as historical curiosities rather than ominous indication that Auntie has never been in touch with demand. For decades, letters of praise or complaints were treated with equal disdain in a 10-minute weekly slot called Points of View, presented by Roy Smile of Barry Tuck or Anne Robinson. Now even that minimal concession to the viewers has been discontinued. If the Beeb truly listened, commissioning editors would know how frustrated people are by endless procession of petty celebrities. Instead, they cram their schedules with quizzes and panel game shows featuring famous faces famous for only being on other quizzes and panel game shows. So true. One Saturday night this year, we saw a celebrity edition of The Weakest Link, followed by The Wall versus Celebrities, Pointless Celebrities, and then Michael McIntyre's celebrity game show The Wheel, and spread it all for us 3 hours and 20 minutes on the BBC. So much for variety. Just the same shit over and over again. What viewers long for is great entertainment, terrific drama with believable characters, comedians who are truly funny, witty and revealing conversations, high tension sports events, and a memorable spectacular, whether that's a colourful dance contest or a wonderful wildlife documentaries. The BBC knows this, because these are the shows that have been its greatest success. There is such affection for sitcoms like Dad's Army and Fawlty Towers, which could never be made nowadays because of the idiotic wokeness that we have to live in today. For celebrations of the arts such as Civilization and the scintillating chat of shows hosted by Michael Parkinson or Russell Harty, where you actually got to learn something about a celebrity, very interesting, that even now repeats of them attract sizable audiences. I like watching Fawlty Towers, Dad's Army, all the old classics, and you know why? Because they're fucking funny. The stuff that comes out today, not so. I mean, I think the only thing that I would say at the moment that makes me giggle is Lee Max not going out. Other than that, I'll say it again, there is no need to spend a fortune on market research because they'll only listen to what they want. Viewers are only too happy to make their feelings clear. Are we not, ladies and gentlemen? Many YouTube channels are thus telling people that we're not happy. Oh well, we're happy with what they're doing. We know what we like. We do indeed. The BBC knows what we like. All they have to do is give us more of it. But they won't, will they? I mean, that there is, as I said, any of these articles that I get, I read them as, I don't read them before. Because there's no point. Because it's much more fun. In fact, half the time what I say is literally said in the next paragraph. But the BBC is a wasted organisation. It doesn't care. He says it quite clearly. They're not interested. All they're interested in is patting themselves on the back, blowing smoke up their own arses, spending a fortune on wages, and giving us whatever shit they want. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm concerned with Russell T Davies and Ncuti Gatwan doing the new Doctor Who, because I don't think it's going to be what we want. It's going to be the echo chamber wants. Hey, but what do I know? I'm just a fat guy sitting in his shed surrounded by toys. But you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this, what you think about the BBC. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, there are no wrong opinions. They're just opinions. That's called free speech. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. And as long as you don't cross that line, of the law, racism and stuff like that, and that's fine for you to say whatever you want to say. I read them all. I mean, the recent Doctor Who one, there are people who don't agree with me, and that's absolutely fine. So I will bring this one to a close. So with that, and as always, and until the next one, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.